Hi, I'm back with another vlog, and today I'm vlogging on former club kid Kabuki. So there's a couple articles that I want to share with you today. The first one is from Paper Magazine. It was published on July 13th of this year, and it's called Makeup Artist Kabuki Starshine Talks. And it's written by Michael Musto. So it says, a long-running presence on the international scene, makeup maestro Kabuki Starshine has always struck me as a living, breathing work of art who's able to apply his craft in ways that range from practical to surreal. I just chatted with Kabuki for some Starshine about his most exciting makeup clients. So he says, hello Kabuki, where do you hail from? And Kabuki responds, I was born in the north of England in 1970 and I spent the 70s near Manchester. What were your aspirations? Kabuki responds, I was really into Top the Pops and disco, so when we moved to Florida, solid gold didn't quite measure up. My ambition was to get into those black satin pants Olivia Newton-John wears at the end of Grease. After the makeover? Yes, not before her makeover. I wasn't interested in that look. So Michael Musto asks, how did you get into makeup? To which Kabuki responds, I always painted and did illustrations that gave me the confidence to transform myself with makeup at a young age. I painted myself up and a lot of people told me that they really liked my makeup and people made mental notes of it and that helped me down the road. Musto says, so you did yourself up? He responds, I was doing that in Florida. Being stuck in Florida drove me to extremes. I wanted to look good and stir things up. When I came into my teens, when the British invasion happened with Annie Lennox and Boy George and Grace Jones and Divine, I was 14. I had expressed myself through painting and escapism through painting. These pop stars were living embodiments to what I was already connected to. I was unemployable in Florida, so at 20 I moved to New York. I grew my hair so long under the influence of all the glamour, and I couldn't get hired for anything. So it was do or die and move to New York. I got a job at textile design, so I was able to make some money. It wasn't until 91 or 92 that I met someone connected to clubs. I'd seen you on Geraldo, and I guess that motivated me. She introduced me to club promoters. Musto asks, did you want to become a club promoter? To which Kabuki responds, oh no, I was the quiet one. I was along for the ride and a fly on the wall. It was a chance for me to get ideas and take it further than the dressing up I'd done as a teenager, and have somewhere to go where you'd be celebrated. Musto asks, do you do people like they're in an Aubrey Beardsley painting? Kabuki responds, on occasion when it's required. Certainly that's not every job, or I wouldn't work that often. I've definitely done my time doing lots of things. When I worked in film, most of what you were doing was hiding things. It was the opposite of flamboyance. Someone's got a big tattoo or a pimple, and you're not supposed to have those things. Musto asks, does one job lead to another? To which Kabuki replies, people like to work with people they've worked with before, that they can trust and are known entities. So it definitely helped. As far as trajectory goes, I could try and break it down. You start out with clubs, and then I got the eye of Suzanne Bartsch. She was high class compared to most of those people. I was working with Anani at Black Lips Theatre Group and doing plays and doing characters. Since I didn't sing or perform, it was more about a visual presentation. He'd give you a character or theme, and then Suzanne picked me up and took me to Europe, where I caught the eye of Barry Mulgar. I was in his show in Paris at the Circus. It was the most expensive fashion show ever done to that date. People like Tippi Hedren and Verushka were in it. How do you end a show where there's every famous supermodel in history? You end it with a 23-year-old man with chest showing and glamorous makeup. No one's going to get jealous. And then, Michael Musto asks, Kabuki says, the phone call that changed my life. I'd done a few tests and then I got a call from Pat Field that she was thinking of doing a new show called Sex and the City. And would I be interested? That was a real life-saving phone call. Of course I said yes. I did that show for 2 years. Musto asked, did you know the show would be so major? And what was your role, keeping the ladies sexy? Kabuki says, I knew that Patricia Field was major, and that Sarah Jessica Parker was on board with Pat when it came to pushing the show's style in a forward-thinking direction. My role was to do the same with the makeup, making them as beautiful as possible while staying true to their characters, which was really the Golden Girls, but in a sexy parallel universe called New York City. That show got me into the union to do film. I did like 7 indie movies. One of the last ones I did was Party Monster, which caught the eye of Stephen Klein. Someone said, if you want to break into fashion, work with a big star photographer. Stephen said, bring all your stuff and do crazy things. Thanks to him, I had a big photo shoot with Karen Elson in Italian Vogue. I put her in bald caps, changed her face in every picture, and made her a dragon. I didn't sleep, nor did she, for 2 days. I knew it was make or break. Madonna had seen the photographs before they were published and wanted me to come along and work on some publicity photos and videos for her tour that Klein was shooting. Musto asks, how did it come about that you worked with Michael Jackson? Kabuki responds, that was a big mystery. I didn't realize how it came about. I thought maybe because I'd worked with Macaulay, but no. Actually, Bruce Weber, whom I'd never worked with before, thought of me for that project. It was for Le Humo Vogue, and it was the first shoot Michael had done in 10 years. They asked me to come back and do the cover of Ebony with him too. Those were his last photo shoots. He was really lovely. I can relive it all the time in my mind because I was so full of adrenaline when it was going on. I had to talk to him on the phone before I met him. I was at a cash machine and the phone rang, and it was his people clearing the line to make sure it was me. He was going to call me in 7 minutes, so I ran home, not wanting to be on the street with sirens and street noise. I got so nervous I had to breathe into a Ziploc bag. I was hyperventilating, but he sounded so scared himself that I instantly calmed down. I sort of felt for him, and when I met him in person, he had dark glasses on so you couldn't see his eyes. He seemed very shy, but when we started to work together, I guess he got my energy, and he was so sweet, quite considerate of me and my working process. So the article goes on a little bit further, talking about some Broadways and his thoughts of the future of fashion. So I will link to the article below if you want to check the whole thing out. But the second thing that I wanted to share with you was an article from last year that was written by James St. James and published on June 8, 2016 by The Wow Report, called Makeup God Legendary Former Club Kid Kabuki Collaborates with MAC for New Makeup Line. Some of what it says is, big beauty news in WWD this week. MAC has tapped 3 makeup artists, one of whom is the beloved WoW celebrity, Kabuki, to develop a 50-piece makeup line that bows January 2nd, 2017, called MAC Makeup Art Express. It's the first time the global beauty brand has collaborated with independent makeup artists to create a collection. Makeup professionals embody the spirit and heritage of MAC culture, said James. Individual color collections with products for eyes, lips, and face reveal each artist's distinct makeup personality. Kabuki's offerings are said to be very dramatic. We wouldn't expect anything less, and include a highly pigmented blue cream eyeshadow, a poppy red lip color, and a bronzer and blush compact. Kabuki said, quote, they gave me complete freedom with this collection and turned my wish list into reality. Congratulations to Kabuki. It's too fabulous. Fabulous. I don't know how any of us are expected to last until January 2nd. I suppose we could content ourselves with gazing at pictures of Kabuki during his Club Kid days and fantasizing about the looks we're going to cook up with his makeup line. So the interview goes on, but I will link to it below if you want to check out the article in its entirety. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to thank you for all the likes and the comments, like always, and you can feel free to check out some of my other videos or playlists. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you can do so by clicking the kitty, and I will see you guys again for my next upload.